Yeah, we back on marketplace ministry. Yeah, technology is what it is. Just trying to always, whenever something happens, just got to jump back on. So I don't have a problem with that. So just stay with us, people, and just understand that we're here for the long haul. As long as God give us breath in our body, marketplace ministry is going to be around. I believe it's going to outlast me and the co-founder, but that's what it's supposed to do. We just here to start it. We're here to push it along, and whatever successor comes, they'll be taken over down the line. But as for now, we just moving on one accord and trying to make this thing happen. So just, stick with us and enjoy the ride, and let's get on the same page. What's going on, my brother?
Nothing much. What's going on, champ?
Man, everything's good, man. Just covering this marketplace ministry thing, man. This community involvement, this community awareness stuff, man. So what's going on? Introduce yourself, man.
How y'all doing, man? It's Keith Henry, co-founder of Marketplace Ministries. What we got in store is God, trying to help them out, man. One day at a time.
Right. Okay, well, just like I said, recapping this, just covering some bases on this community awareness, talking about just, the New World Order. I believe God has spoken to us, about collaboration, about coming together. I think that's the new thing that needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I just got something deep in my spirit, that you said New World Order, we are prone to seeing CEOs and executives be majorities, and I believe what we're doing right now, part of the New World Order, we are introducing what the new executives look like. This is the new executives. Like this is the new norm now. You're gonna see this. Like you're gonna see more of this. I believe this is what's gonna grow the world to the capacity that we need, because now doors are gonna open for us. That's gonna allow us to pour more into the cup, which is the world. Because by them pouring into us, we can and then return pour into the world. And even like with this platform alone, I thank God for it, because if we didn't have it, we couldn't reach a certain amount of people in a certain amount of time span like we have. So, this is a part of the new world. They didn't have this in Martin Luther King.
Right.
They was fighting for what they were fighting for. So, you mentioned a new world. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. This is the beginning of it. But this is what it looked like, if you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
So, yeah, that I want to put that out there, because that hit my spirit. The new world, because we get so accustomed to seeing, you know, people not being of color being in certain positions, and that's about to change. So I just want to put that out there, child.
No doubt. Just before we connected on tonight, that's pretty much what I was saying. And also, God is also saying as well, as we're leading this ministry, this business ministry, marketplace ministry, we're setting it up for the successors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everything has to have a successor to take over, have to be passed down. So we're not going to always be here, but we're going to run with it as long as we can. As long as God give us breath in our body, we're going to govern what we're supposed to the right way. You know what I'm saying? We're going to lead by example and help people understand what our purpose is of what we're doing, so that way they can come alongside of us and bridge the gap, because that's what it's about. Whether it be, because every elected official, every police officer, every person in government is not bad. So we have to find a way to connect with the ones that's really about God's purpose and connect with us and help push us along, because that's how we're going to do this thing, because God is not a magician. God, he allows us to gain knowledge and wisdom to understand that we have to connect. That's where we make things happen, by touching other people's lives, touching their hearts, so they can say, wow, you know, I've been thinking the same thing. Wow, somebody's actually doing what I was thinking. Let me go give them a helping hand, give them a push. And that's what we're doing as leaders. We're giving other people pushes in the spirit right now. And that's how we come in. We come in with what God has given us, and we're sharing it. We're not holding on to it. We're not saying, yo, I got something powerful, but we don't put it out there. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're doing as Marketplace Ministry. As you know, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I believe it's more to it than just that, because you know, we're not only just lead, we're more about action. You know what I mean? The first step of action is communication. You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing right now. We communicate. We're letting you know it's an introduction. We're letting you know who we are. You know, hey, this is the first step. You know what I mean? We're putting ourselves out there. You guys know us. You know what we're about. You know what I mean? We've been consistent. You know, we've been persistent and everything else. So you really got a good understanding of who he is from some people that know us personally, and some people that just really got a chance to meet us. You know what I mean? You know what we're about. You know what I mean? And this is the first step. You know what I mean? It's a good step, because not too many people are doing it like this. You know what I mean? Like we not let you know what we have going on, but we not really selling on nothing yet. You know what I mean? We not. Not yet. We want to get that interaction with you. You know what I mean? We want you to feel who we are. You know what I mean? Feel what's going on. Like I said, with the new world order for us being a new executive and CEO, we want you to understand this. We want you to really understand what it looks like. We want you to not only hear our words, but visualize it. You know what I mean? Like, just say, for instance, you go downtown in Houston. You know what I mean? It's probably 90% Caucasian, you know, with suits. You know, but in this new world order, it's going to be 50-50. You know what I mean? You know, they're going to have their percentage, we're going to have our percentage. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what this new world order is.
And you know, just to piggyback off of that, to God, this is old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because this is already predestined. All we're doing is lining up with what God is saying to do, because this has been a long time coming, because a lot of people have not grasped the capability to come together as one without looking down or judging or saying, oh, you don't have that type of education. This is not about none of that. This is about collaboration. This is about unity and being unified. You know what I mean? So we're going to have, like, some people are going to come across the path. Some people are going to lift up. They're going to move on. Some people are going to stay with us. Some people are going to leave. But that's all good. As long as we stay solid with this organization and then we continue to grow, that's what's going to happen. And so, you know, because you can't foretell. We don't know our expected end. You know what I'm saying? As Marketplace Ministry, we don't know. I know I don't. I don't know the expected end to this ministry. You know what I mean? Because this ministry is way wide, and God knows what's going to happen in the end. But we're right now in the beginning, and that's not even nothing to worry about. I don't even focus on that. The focus is now, the present. You know what I'm saying? Moving to the future, whatever that lies, because tomorrow is not even promised. So if we can make something happen today, and we can hit a mark today, deal with this thing as if today was our last day, we have to hit it hard every time. We have to hit the iron. We have to continue to strike the iron while it's hot. And then we form what we're doing. We form in Marketplace Ministry, because this is just the beginning. We haven't even tapped into the top of anything. We just being obedient. And I'm excited to see what God is going to do through this ministry. For now, it looks really promising. Like, okay, you know, even though we don't have a bunch of followers, but we got some followers.
Right.
So and that's really not the concern with Marketplace Ministry. The concern is never going to be a concern. It's going to always be what we are called to do, and we're going to act on the call. we're gonna, so I mean, this thing can go as well as we need it to go, want it to go, but at the end of the day, we always have to stay prayed up. We always have to understand that things come, but we can't allow things to overcome. And so when it's like that, you just got to be true to what you do. Like we go to work every day, we go earn our money to pay our bills, to lead our family. We take that very serious. Most people go earn money, they take that serious. So we have to take this ministry serious as well.
And one more other thing too, as far as as far as anything, like one thing about this interaction chat, this is more about me and you. I personally believe this is more about me and you as far as who we are, what we stand for. Because even with the followers, they can see this later on. You know what I mean? They can see it on the replay. You know what I mean? Our thing is just being obedient and putting it out. You know what I mean? Like, can we carve that time in our day to be obedient to God's word? You know what I mean? And put that call out. You know what I mean? Like what the call is? How the call goes?
Right. That's the chauffeur. That's when that's okay. That's a good point, because whenever God inspires you and He touches you to do something, do it. Right. Like we did that. It wasn't that I've never did that before. I've never did that. Like took my hand. I know what a chauffeur is. Right. So I've blown one of those things before, and they're hard to blow.
Right.
They're really hard to blow. It ain't just you gonna blow. Your windpipe has to be. You have to have some wind to blow to make that thing sound off. But anyway, I used my hand, but that was a demonstration, an outward demonstration. Mm-hmm. That God wanted us to show that we are on target. We are on, actually, we're right, we're lined up with what God is saying. So a lot of times, as a church, all we are is a church without walls. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So we are the body of Christ. So the bottom line is, as long as we stay within those confines, then God is always going to give us nuggets. He's always going to send us help. Before the vision, when He gives you vision, he's making sure He give us provision. So we good. So that's one thing I appreciate you with understanding the purpose, and there's no time frame to this. You know what I mean? Because God can push us. Listen, God can open it up right. He can open up right now. We can get a call that will change our lives for the rest of our lives today. But sometimes I believe God allows us to go step by step so we can continually learn and we can add on to what we have.
See, what? God is really like, God is so magnificent, because He'll make you get comfortable in the process. As soon as you start that process, He pull you out of it. You know what I mean? Like He'll make you get comfortable in that process. And it's like, because it's like, the process is meant to break you. It's meant to make you want to stop. But by you keep going and you get comfortable in the process, now he done not only did he keep going, but now he's comfortable. See what I mean? Right. So I have to take him out of there, because now he done. Now, by me being God and trying to teach my son and teaching the hard way, like, make him go all over the world, make him call, make him believe, doing all these different things. Now he got it. Now he comfortable. Now guess what I gotta do? Now I gotta put the process. He proven that the process can't break him.
Right, and that's right, because lessons are blessings. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because all of this is a lesson. Whatever we encounter is going to be a lesson, and it's how you receive the lesson. Because the lesson all the time ain't going to be ice cream, peaches and cream. The lesson sometimes is going to be a trial. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be tested on every side, because you have to be tested so God continue to pour into you. And as long as you know you're covered, as long as your team, as long as the people that you're moving with are covered and they are communicative, like we communicate. I believe we have to communicate because it's necessary. So that way we won't miss steps. Because if I miss a step, if we communicating, you'll know when I miss a step. Vice versa. If we connecting, if you miss a step, I'll know that you're missing a step, and it's up to me to come and help you get back on. And so that's how God moves in this thing here. It's not about, that's why he says he sends people out 2 by 2. Right. Even when I get on here by myself, yeah, I can get on here and speak, but it's not the same. Right. It's not the same because 2 heads is better than 1. Right. 1 can send 10,000 demons to flight, but 2 can send massive demons to flight. So that's why God said he sends 2 people out. It's never about 1 person, because you can't have your, now God can cover you, but he didn't set it up like that. It's power in the pair. Right. You understand? And that's what people don't understand. It's power in the pair. That's why he sends a man or woman, because it's power in the pair. And as this, he sends us 2 by 2, is power in the pair. As long as we know that, every day should be better. Right. Every day should be worth what we're doing. Like, I'm excited about getting on 7 days a week. Man, listen, I'm like a kid in the candy store, because I know the magnitude, and I know what God has said. So we're being obedient. And as long as we don't allow anybody to take us off our path, then we're going to eat good of the land. And God is going to allow us to eat good of the land because he knows we share. He knows we care. So therefore, we're going to bring other people up, you know what I'm saying, that he has called us to do. And we don't know really these other people until they show up. So we can think all day long, oh, it's going to be this one. Nah, until they show up, because the chosen ones was not the ones that sat in the background. The chosen ones were the ones who showed up. And that's when God delivered what he gave to them so they can keep it moving. Because many are called, few are chosen. And the chosen ones are the ones, even if you call, if you don't take action to what you're called to do, then you just called. You just called it. You understand? And God will give it. He'll say he'll let a rock grow legs and do what you're supposed to do. And I'm not having that. I'm not having that. When I got breath in my body and I know that God has told me to do this, get off your rusty, dusty, and do it. That means shake the dust off your feet, keep it moving. Nothing should hold us down, because when 2 people or more are in a relationship, because this is relational. Right. This is relationship. We're building relationships so we can continue to do this work. Right. Relationships are built. They're not made. You ain't gonna already come into no relationship. Right. Nah, not set up like that. You know what I mean? We got to have communion. Right. We got a fellowship. Right. You understand? And we have to both be heading in the same direction, meaning God direction. Because the common denominator we have, our greatest common denominator is God. Yes, sir. You can't get it no greater than that. I ain't talking about man. I ain't talking about flawless man, because we're flawless. I'm talking about we understand who's pushing us. That's big in itself, man. You understand what I'm saying? We know who's pushing us. The Spirit of God is pushing us, because regular people don't do this. But no, nobody's giving us no pay. We are inspired and empowered because God says, go get my people. He says, go help my people. You understand? And so we don't even know who his people is really until they show up. You see what I'm saying? Now we can say out of our mouth, yeah, I know. No, you don't. No, you don't. You ain't going to know until they show up. And when they show up, they'll let us know. We'll know for sure.
And one thing about that, man, like, this is why I'm so comfortable and I'm so thankful, because number one, like Chap said, man, you know by the people that show up, and Chap show up 7 days a week. You know what I mean? He show up. You know what I mean? Like, and he let you know, hey man, I'm showing up. You know what I mean?
Man,
The thing is, and once you be around people that don't show up, and you see people that do show up,
right,
it pushes you to become a better person. You know what I mean?
right,
It pushes
right,
you to become a better man. You know what I mean? So you know, and it's rejuvenating me. Like it's making me move. Like I told Chap earlier. You know, instead of me sitting around like, oh, I'm tired, man, I've been moving around. Like, nah, I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and
right,
knock out. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get out the way. Like today, it
right,
was crazy because the line was long. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of crazy stuff going on in the store. You know, but luckily I went 2 hours early instead of going 30 minutes early. You know what I mean? So
right,
I was able to, you know, don't trip. You know, able to do what I need to do. You know, not
right,
drive out fast and reckless. You know what I mean? That's because of Chap. You know, working on punctuality. You know what I mean? And we've been talking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? In marketplace ministry, that's what we do, man. That's what we do. We blend it in, and you know, everybody get what you need to get to become a better person, man. Like because
right,
sometimes
right,
they say you know, we always late for everything. You know what I mean? You know, it's a stereotypical quote or whatever, but that's kind of truth. You know what I mean? We kind of late for pretty much everything. And, you know, it's punctuality. I was that way. You know what I mean? That's why I can speak on it. You know, I was that way.
right,
I was a
right,
statistic. You know, I'm trying my best to work my way out of that. But however, you know, that's we come together for little stuff like that make you just be a bit like make you be a better person, make you more responsible, make you
right.
more you know loving and you know trustworthy. You know what I mean? Just a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like you know I can trust you if you're showing up every day on time. You know what I mean? I can
Right,
trust you.
right.
And even myself, I gotta get a little better. You know, I'm about 2-3 minutes late. You know, even though I
And
really wasn't late, I just didn't hit the phone. And it was just anyway. I was set up. I just didn't try
right,
to.
right. I mean,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying? It's when you show up, it's consistency. It just shows God because God ain't crazy. He
Right.
know who you are. He know what our mission is because it's his mission. You understand? But it was innately in us. That's why we're here at this present time and this present time in life. But the bottom line, when you know being on time and all that, it's all a practice. You
Right.
know, like I always say, when we was a child, we spoke as a child. We grown now. You can't keep using those excuses, and that's what people don't understand because you can't use that excuse at work. Just using that analogy. Go to work and keep being late and see what happens. You're gonna get a ticket, you're gonna get out of there. Because now they can't trust you to be on time, they can't trust you to put you in a position. So God, if God says render due what seasons, that means we have to pay taxes, right? So
Right.
whatever the government is telling us to do is telling us that we have to do that. So why not? Because when we was in the world, man, we went hard. I know for me, man, I went hard. So I'm not gonna go hard when I'm with God now. I'm working for God. So I'm gonna just be mundane. I'm gonna just be like, it ain't that serious. Yeah, it is. It is that serious because if God gives you a direct purpose and he tells you to do something, because he's not gonna beg you to do it. I'm honored that God even allowing us to move the way we move in. You understand? Because he could have chose somebody else.
Hey, cause hey, Chap, you gotta give them the other side of that, man. I don't think they understand. You know,
Well, the other side, the other side is I could have been dead. I didn't got shot. I didn't got stabbed. I didn't smoke crack cocaine. I didn't womanized. I didn't did so much wrong in my life for him to still. See, the thing is, that didn't matter to God
right,
because he was rooting for me all along. He just allowed me to bust my head. He was like, nah, since you don't want to come the route that I called you when you was younger,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you get cracked open,
Right.
and then when you get to a certain age, you're gonna come around. But some people don't come around.
And
Some
they end
people, some people wind up missing a leg. They wind up can't hear. They wind up missing the eye. They wind up with half a lung. I done had pneumonia, had a trach. You understand? Had a trach. Came out of that. They said I wasn't going to talk no more. So when God allows you to come out of things, man, listen, I owe God. Listen, when I owed the drug man, I went hard for that money. I'm not gonna go hard for the one who's giving me my body. Come on now. And I don't do some of the things, and you have to change the people, places, and things.
Yes, sir.
I don't hang around people. Listen, if I hung around a crackhead right now, I'm gonna smoke crack again. And that's just the bottom line to it. If I hang around somebody sniffing dope, I'm gonna sniff dope again because it's easy to do.
Right.
You understand? Because listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. Some of that stuff, I thank God for burning that out of me because I liked it.
Right.
It was like a recreational thing.
Right.
But God, I love it.
Right.
See, I didn't love that. I liked it.
Right.
Because even though I liked it, done me so dirty. The streets ain't got no love out there. Nothing. I don't care what nobody say. If you think, listen, the streets ain't never lost a battle. So if you think you can beat them streets, man, I'm gonna just be praying. We just gonna be praying for you, for God to put more fire up under your tail. Because that's how I am. I'm like, listen, Lord, put fire up under them. If you call them, I know he gonna do it anyway. I don't have to tell God that, but my prayer ain't, Lord, let them, no, crack them. So that way they'll understand that this is serious because they got a place in you to do your will, your way. And so my thing is send them to Marketplace Ministry once they come out of it. That's my prayer. Because we have a place for them where we want to walk alongside of them and help them through this situation, navigate through this stuff. So that's what it is, man. And I thank God for Marketplace Ministry because we dealing with healing first. I don't want no money without healing because I'm gonna squander it. I'm gonna mess it up, or I'm gonna hurt somebody else. And guess what? Now the blood is on your hand. So stop asking for money. Stop asking for things from God. I ask God for clarity and wisdom. You understand? That's what I ask him for. And so, with that, everybody, that's the key. We got to stop trying to be this person that we're really not. You know what I mean? Or we want all the money for what? You're gonna treat people dirty anyway. If your heart is not pure, if your decisions is not based on what God is saying to do, you're in the wrong lane. You're in the wrong lane. You're a fool in the pursuit of nothing. That's what you are, because that's where I was. But I had to shut it down. And then I did a lot of time. After I told y'all all that stuff happened in the street, I did 15 years in prison. Man, my life was a mess. But it ain't now. Hallelujah. It ain't now. I can shout, I can say, Lord, thank you for your grace and your mercy was sufficient. You understand? I don't have no braggadocious mindset. I have a thankful mindset. And with that mindset, that's how he gave us Marketplace Ministry. He said, I'm going to utilize you now because I see where you are. You my son. We're sons. We're ambassadors. So he's given us, anything that come through Marketplace Ministry, men, the co-founder here, we have to take, it's going to hit us first. Because God knows we can deal with it because we're going to deal with each other. You understand? And so, but the bottom line is we things are coming together. We dealt with some things already, but at the end of the day, as we continue to build, you know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Hey man, I gotta take a time out, man, and give the founder, man, a big thank you, man, for getting a stand for me, man. Man, I really appreciate it, man. It's crazy because I didn't. God just told me. And I went into the closet and repented the other day. And he told me I gotta open up. And I gotta open up and allow people to pour into me because he see how I'm pouring into people and it gotta be reciprocal. Like people have to want to pour into me. Like they want to pour into me, and I have to allow them. Like I cannot be what's the word, prideful or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, I have to allow certain things, and it's crazy, you know, Chap. Some of it is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I don't think I told Chap what happened when I went into the closet. You know what I mean? I know I told him I needed to go into the closet. I'm supposed to be in the
Oh, that's between you and God.
right,
So
right,
all I want, all marketplace ministry needs from you is residual.
right,
You
right,
feel what I'm saying? When you go in your secret place, that's between you and the Father.
right,
I go in my secret place, that's between me and my Father. And whatever comes out of that, it's going to be residual.
right.
I'm going to be able to give it to somebody else because now I understand what he was saying, and now we got to give it up. We can't hold it because it's a testimony. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
and that's one thing too, Chap. We need to really um push, you know, as far as people getting their secret place. You know what I mean? Like getting your secret place that, you know, because man, you know, it's powerful. You know what I mean? Once you really get in there, you know, me, I do mine, you know, I put my head on the ground, you know, stretch my arms out, you know what I mean? You know, get into a quiet place, you know, my forehead touch the ground. You know what I mean? You know, my hands spread out, you know, before I come to you and bow down, you know what I mean? I come to you in respect and honor. You know, I come to you in repentance. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
To act,
the first step.
right.
That's the
To get
first step, repentance. But you know, the deal is, and you know, and the pastors, you know, they get beat over the head a lot. Which you know, I'm not there with that no more. I'm helping. I want to help the pastors.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them start off right, but they get so boggled down because I'm constantly reminded of the story of Moses. How Moses went so hard helping all those people, like the pastors, helping so many people, but then they hard headed. They're so they so angry and they're dealing with so much stuff to the pastors be like, man, bump them. But you can't do that. Jesus said, if you lose one of my sheep, you need to go get them. You need to go get them. But you know, that's where it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but the bottom line is, man, you have to also study yourself, study to show yourself approved. You have to
Right.
get in the word. To know God, you have to know the word of God to get to know God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then he'll speak to your spirit. And then, you know, the bottom line is, I don't tell too many people about going into the secret place because I said a lot. You know, it's the reason why scriptures come out of me because I study. I've been studying for 30 years.
Mm.
Literally, man. I mean, I've been in that word for about 30 years. But the bottom line is, it's a part of me. So now when I talk, automatically scriptures come up.
Mm.
And it comes from that. It comes from trying to fellowship with God and trying to stay close to God as I can. You know what I mean? As I humanly can. So, and I make mistakes, I repent, but I go back in. I'm like, Lord, because God says every time you repent, he throw your stuff, he casts your stuff in the sea of forgetfulness. He don't bring that stuff, he blocks it out. But it's us that go back to it and get it. It ain't God that keep adding it to us. It's us that say, oh man, I done sinned 2 years ago. What 2 years ago keep bringing up? How's that keep coming up?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? How's 25 years coming up? Something wrong. You got some stuff that's in you that need to be burnt out of you.
Clean that closet out.
Right. But until you do that, it's not going to happen until you, because a lot of times what people do, they suppress.
Mm.
They suppress things. They push it down. And only God can go get it. So if you don't go to God for help, man, you ain't going to get help. I don't care what psychiatrist you go to. I don't care what medication you take. I don't care what, you can run around the church 40 times. It ain't going to come out because all that. And a lot of people are dancing, but they ain't dealing.
Mm.
They dancing, but they not dealing. So that's what God is looking at. Man, y'all are dealing with the theatrics, but you have no power. That's why Satan is dancing around people. You understand? Because he know they weak. He know they ain't calling on God. He know they not walking with God as best they can until they can get stronger. You have to get with like-minded people
Right.
to move in that way. You
But
can't just say, Lord, you
and
know what I mean?
one thing about being around like-minded people is, it's gonna change. Even with this and me, like, man, you know what? I'm so used to the challenge that I'm starting to challenge myself now. You know what I mean? I'm starting to challenge myself. It's
Right,
like, it's like I don't need chapter tell me. You know what I mean? I know he would say right now. You know what I mean? But this is a result of being open-minded and allowing myself to be pushed. You know what I mean? Like even with some days, you was upset or whatever. Man, I'm not dealing with him. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, he do it. That's passion. You know what I mean? Like that's passion, and you have to be able to let that happen because if he can't come out like that, then you don't know where you really going wrong at. You know what I'm saying? And that's a gauge, because he's not gonna just do that for nothing. You know what I mean? Even whatever, he's not gonna just do that for nothing. So you really have to gauge that, like that. Like those little monitor things that let you see underground. If you got some gold or something buried, and you go.
right,
Yeah, and that's what that is. Like once you go, it's a hot area right there. You know what I mean? So you have to dig right there. In which our case was at one time punctuality. You know what I mean? And things like that. That was a hot area. And as today, it's still hot because we seeing we reaping the benefits of it. Like we reaping the reward of us talking about punctuality back then. You know what I mean? Like now, and the seed of the fruit of that seed is growing. See what I'm
right,
saying? Now we're able to. We not all the way quite there yet, but we can see it. We can see it even with myself. Like I can see it now. Okay, well I can just do this and do this. Okay, cool. I can get it. You know what I'm saying? I can do what I need to do. You know what I mean? And as at first it was like, oh man, woo. But now we really narrowing it down. Like now we really paying attention. Now we really get to what we really need to get to. So
right.
like I said, man, it's just been a blessing, man, allowing, like-minded people to pour into myself and really get what God really has for me. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the other hidden masters right there to know, man, what's going on. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right,
Yeah, but we just sitting here talking about, being around open-minded people. You know what I mean? That can push you to the next level in life. You know what I mean? And that's what that is. You know what I mean?
right. And how can two walk together unless they be in agreement?
Right.
You understand? If you hanging around with a murderer, then what you think how you think that's gonna work out for you? You understand? What's going on, my brother? If you hanging around with a homosexual person, you're not judging nobody, but what does that say about you? What does that say about you? If you hang around with a thief, you can't say, yo, nah, he robbing banks and all that, but you hanging around him every day, every other day, and you say, nah, I'm not no thief. I don't do that. Well, watch when he get caught, what's gonna happen to you. And so we gotta first grow up. We gotta learn how to start maturing as men. We gotta step out of this boy stuff. We gotta become men because men, it's broken men too. But when you become mature, I'm gonna say maturity. You understand? Because there's a lot of men, boys in men bodies. You understand? And they make mistakes. And to become wise, I always hear people say, yo, I want to be wise. Do you really? Because first you got to become a fool. You have to be a fool to become wise. And you may not make it to becoming wise. You may die in that mess. You're not promised to make a mistake and come back out of that.
Right.
So I'm saying, what we're doing, we pull each other up. And the Bible says you can be angry, but sin not.
Yes, sir.
Because anger, what anger does, it fuels you to push forward. You don't have to be angry, you understand, and just be sinning. You can be angry just so, it's gonna fuel you because of the passion in you. You know what I mean? So and we're not to really challenge each other. We're to challenge ourselves. Now, I'm gonna pull you up. See, I don't like to use the word challenge because you don't supposed to challenge nobody. I think you're supposed to empower them and encourage them. You know what I mean? Encouragement is better than challenging, because when you challenge somebody and you don't know where that person's at. But I think if you encourage that person and then to become empowered, you empower that, help that person be empowered, it'll work better that way.
Right.
Challenging to me is a little egotistic. You understand? So the bottom line is, I'm not to challenge. God don't challenge us. He tests us. You understand? The devil is the challenger. The devil is really, Satan is really put here on the earth for our sparring. He's our spar. He spars us. That's what Satan is about.
Hey, it's just like when Satan told God about Job. You know what I mean? He ain't, it's just like, he ain't, he ain't that tough like you say he is.
Right.
Let me get at him. Let me get at him. Yeah, I'll get him. I'll hit him. I'll take everything from him. But just don't lay your hands on him.
Guess what? Guess what? Even taking that step further, right? You're 100% right. But check this out. When somebody has to go to somebody, they're not in charge. You feel what I'm saying? He had to go to God to even miss Job. So Satan's not in charge. He ain't got the power, really. He had to say, Father, because that's his father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He created Satan. So he put Satan down. He allowed Satan to get up out of there, heaven, because he was foul, to spar against him, because he know we hard-headed. God says, don't be hard-headed jokers. So at the end of the day, now Jesus is at the right hand praying for us, interceding, saying, Lord, Father, Lord, give them another chance. They lining up.
Right.
They lining up. Line up. You feel what I'm saying? So to get, because see, that's another story. We start talking like that, it gets but we're gonna talk the way we talk, because this is me and you talking. And who's chiming in, they feel what we're talking about, and they catching the vibe because it's true talk. That's what God told us to do. When we get on here, this is to build us up, and it's going to build other people up so we can be real with one another, because that's what we do every day, man. We go in every day, brother. We going kind of strong, man, and consistent. We're consistent with this. It's sometimes when I'm at work, when I'm not on here, when I'm not talking to you, I can sense your spirit. I'm like, yo, let me just get a brother holler. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the
day, Chap, one thing about that, what I love about what we have going on is we get a lot of content. You know what I mean? Like we can go back over the last few weeks, and we can make a whole nother video about just what we've been putting out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, all types of things. You know what I mean? And the camaraderie that we gaining. That's been us too. And also, like I say, man, the trajectory of where we're going. Like we stay consistent on what we talk about. We know what the foundation is, man. So like I say, man, Marketplace Ministries is definitely here to stay. Definitely here to grow. You know what I mean? Like we definitely understand. What it's gonna take for us to really, go take it to the next level, man. And I don't know if Chap know, but man, I got a lot of stuff up here, man.
Man, I already know who you are. I already know who you are. All I'm gonna do is try to push it out of you. Yeah. You understand? I'm gonna encourage and empower you to be all you can be. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Because God has given us a powerful platform, my brother. You know what I'm saying? The platform is really powerful, man, because we've reached it. See, we about souls. Mm-hmm. That's residual. Right. That's God's residuals. It ain't money. It never was money with God. It never was. He never dealt with that. Man dealt with that. Man dealt with the mammon. God was about souls, man. That's his. That's how he moved. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he's embedded that in us. We about them souls, man. So that's our work. We put in work. That's our work. Them souls, preferably our souls. Check each other, make sure each other's good, man. And that's what it's about. Because you can't be making sure everybody else is good. We busted. No. It don't work like that, man. So we got to get fortified, you know.
But you know what, Chap? I used to do that. You know, I used to do that.
We all did.
I got so caught up in it. You know, I was just doing, you know, like nah. But now it's like, man, nah, man. That's why I tell you, I got my checklist now. You know,
and you was miserable too, wasn't you? Yeah, you was miserable. So was I. So now it's a different ball game. When you line up with God, man, the Spirit of God, man, listen, bro, I got so much peace. I got so much peace, man, that surpasses understanding. I be praying to God. I said, Lord, whatever comes my way, death, what everything, because I'm a chaplain as well. So I'm a clergyman. So I'm a journeyman. So I minister all day, but I dump on God. I don't dump on people. I dump on God. He says, cast your cares onto him, for he cares. So I dump on him, and I've learned how to do that. I can't hold that stuff. I got my own stuff to deal with. I can't hold on to people's stuff. No, I'm not holding on to people's stuff neither. They got their own stuff to deal with. Now, if I can help them work through that, then I'll do that. But that's not my call to hold on to people's stuff. That's what Moses did. That's what Paul did in the Bible. They were so disgruntled. Paul was so out of control, but Paul wrote most of the New Testament. You understand? He was a serial killer. So we ain't, listen, so the bottom line is, man, our sin, you know, you can't get past your last act of disobedience. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever your last act of disobedience is, and you didn't repent to God, you stuck. You stuck. And if you don't think you are, hold on to that.
Say, man, you know, man, unparents, man, you know, take care of your kids, you know,
Man,
yeah, don't deceive people, you know, don't manipulate people, you know what I mean? Like, you know, man, like, you know, cause man, we gotta start living right, man. And I understand sometimes we do this stuff because we don't even know what we're doing. You know, if you know better, you do better. You know what I mean? And
I beg to differ on that, brother.
okay.
No. That's what we got to learn. You know what you're doing. Because if a person, if you're not mentally retarded, mentally disabled, see, God allowed me to work with mental health. I've been in the mental health field for 8 years. Now the ones in mental health know what they doing. Some of them.
I don't know, Chap. You know,
I'm telling you from experience, man. I've dealt with people on men. I've worked with clients, man. No, listen, I work with clients. They told me they don't do that. They can't do that. And after I finished working with them, I was like, what? Hold up. Man, they running circles around people. You understand what I'm saying? So the bottom line is when you are not paying attention to what God is saying to you, if you don't know what God is saying to you, keep living. You're gonna be tested with different things. I'm not saying you're wrong about what you said about, you know, because that's somewhat, to me, that's kind of a cliche. Like I hear people say, if you don't know what to do, you know, what did you said? You know better, you do better. Most people know better, but they refuse to do better. They refuse to do better because I'm gonna tell you this. I know people get up every day to go get a check. I know every day people get up and do the necessity thing that they want. But when it comes down to a need, they put it to the side.
No, I believe that.
If you can open up your mind to that, because, okay, let me put it on myself. I knew not to sell crack cocaine. I sold it. You know why? Because I wanted a return off of it. I wanted money. I knew not to impress. I knew not to sleep with 3 women and have 3 different babies by 3 women. No, I was horny. I wanted some sex. I knew better, but I didn't do better. You see what I'm saying? I knew better. What I'm saying is most people know better, but they don't do better. And that's immaturity. That's called immaturity. When you're a child, you spoke as a child. When you grew up, I know many men that's in grown man bodies keep doing wrong and they know what they're doing. They getting the same things from it, but they won't change. It's something in that not changing because they feel, man, I ain't done with it. I'm not done with it.
Chap, you know, I can only speak on that on this one situation that we've really been speaking about, which is me and my homosexuality. You know what I mean? Like on so many different levels, it took just to fix my.
You didn't know better. You didn't know better when you wasn't being punctual. You didn't know better. That's what you said.
I mean, I knew, but I didn't know how to fix it.
You didn't. Well, you knew. Well, that can. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. That's a part of.
If I keep saying, okay, well, I keep saying I can. If I keep saying I can get the other side of town in 15 minutes. If I got there today in 15 minutes, okay, it was just straight today. Okay, so I got there in 15 minutes. So now in my mind, if I leave here 15 minutes before I need to get there, I can get there in time. But I'm not calculating traffic. I'm not calculating I might need gas. I'm not calculating all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So now it's like, okay, well, dang. So now it's like, now I gotta leave 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So I'm just using that as an example.
Oh no, you're right. No. Every individual is different. I'm telling you from my experience, everybody's different. But if I tell you, Keith, if you go earlier, you're probably, so that way you won't beat traffic. You can beat traffic. So if you got to be somewhere at 9, if you got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, if you got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, right? If you got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, yeah, but that's the individual. That's the individual.
But see now I'm knowing now. Now I know. So guess what? By me knowing, I can now.
How many times somebody told you to do something and you didn't do it? And hold up, and they were successful in it. They were successful. Now, so for instance, if I said to you, Keith, you told me you had an appointment the next day or whatever, and your appointment was at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, yo, man, go an hour earlier so that way if something comes up, you'll be clear. And you don't do it. And then you keep coming into a situation where it's not working for you because you never went that extra, you never went that hour. All that is you didn't listen to what I said. You kept doing what you check it out. You just kept doing what you wanted to do. Because somebody, hold on. Somebody gave you the answer. Somebody gave you the answer now.
Okay, that's just like math. You know what I mean? You might get the question right. Just because I'm still getting it wrong, that don't mean that I'm not trying to get it right.
But if somebody gave you the answer, right? If somebody gave you an answer, if the teacher gave you an answer, now you're using that analogy, if the teacher gave you that answer, okay, and she showed you the formula on how to get that answer, and you keep coming up with the wrong answer, there may be a mental blockage there. Or you may not understand but if she showed you, it may take you a few times to get there.
Right.
I'm not saying, that's all I'm saying. It may take you, and I get what you're saying, if you know better, then you would do better. What I'm trying to take off the plate is a lot of us make that an excuse. They make that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but they sit on that, and they don't try to do it another way. You see what I'm saying?
But this is the $1 million thing right here. The one who can get past that is the one who is get the glory. The one who really, understand it. The one who can get to him. Like even me, God told me I'm the messenger. I'm like, God, if I'm the messenger, why they not listening? What's going on? Well, you're not giving them the message properly. Give them the message properly, and they will receive it. And until they receive it, that means you're not giving them the message properly. If this is the equation, and you keep on getting the equation wrong, who fault is it, the student or the teacher?
It's actually the student. It's the student, because the teacher's the teacher. The teacher's teaching you something. If God says study to show yourself approved, that means read the word of God and get what you can get out of it, and then the answers will come around sooner or later. But what I'm saying is, what works for me may not work for you. So, but what I'm saying, what we're saying, there's not a right and a wrong here, but it's just something to look at. You know what I'm saying? As for me, I'm gonna speak on me. As for me, and that's what I told you, God says we got to start doing, putting it on us.
Right.
So that way, so people can understand better. Because when you start saying that, now, as for me, everything that came to me, I could have done, but I didn't want to do that at that time because I didn't think it made sense. I think, no, that's for you. That ain't for me. But I kept hitting brick walls. I kept hitting brick walls. I kept hitting brick walls until I actually tried what they told me to try, how they told me to try it. I tried it, and guess what? It worked out for me. Now, all the times I didn't try that, I was dealing with my own ego, and I was like, nah, whatever works for you works for you. That may not work for me. But I didn't even try it to see if it worked for me. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And so, and that's what it is. And everybody takes time into moving forward, whatever they do. It's a time frame with that individual. The reason why it took me so long, because I didn't believe it worked like that. I was like, man, I'll get it when I get it. But guess what?
Okay, hold on. Right? Let's take Chaplain Anthony James. The one who been through what he's been through.
Right.
Right? Now,
right.
I'm pretty sure you knew better, right? Your parents told you,
Right.
Exactly, right?
Right.
So now now what made you stop doing what you was doing?
When I got tired of getting my tail kicked. That's what made me stop. I could have been stopped that long ago. I could have been went to college. I could have been don't go out there and hustle. They told me, listen, man, you always getting caught. Why you keep doing that? I'm like, nah, because I got to do it because I'm trying to make this money. So I was hard-headed. So I kept doing the negative things and I kept getting the nasty results. Right. So when I got my last time I went to jail, woo, I did 52 months. And man, it broke me down. So guess what? We need to stop letting it break us. We need to stop doing those things so we won't get broke down, because you're not promised to make it through that situation, is what I'm saying. Because now, I look back now, I'm saying, dang, man, you was hard-headed, boy. You didn't listen. My mom said, listen, just go to school and try to be a productive citizen and do what you're supposed to do. All right, whatever. I ain't care about what they were saying.
And see again.
I chose my way.
We're going to bring that back. We're going to bring that back to like the teacher breaking the problem down. Like you said, okay, now you said it was a student. You said it was a student fault if the student don't get it, right? Now, if your mother would have took you and set you down and say, hey, let's just say, for instance, I'm gonna.
You got 20 seconds, bro.
Oh man. Well, until next time, man. Oh man, we were just getting into it, man.
It's all good. It's all good because we can finish. We can talk about this thing
There
so
you
we
go. Hey,
clarity. Because
hey, say,
I know
hey.
for me, I'm gonna leave it on me and